Boom. Shellac-a-lac, boom. All right, let's go. Let's get it. Let's get the lighting. Let's get it where we want to get it. Get it where we want to get it where we want to get it. Ooh, a little orange face. A little orange facey. Okay, everybody. How's everybody doing? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Shooting the show, and I got home late. And man, hi everybody. Hi. How am I sounding to all of you fine folks? Is it sounding good? Somebody's saying some crazy stuff. All right. Sound good, look good. Boom, shellac-a-lac, boom. Everybody. Hello. Well, all of you right here. Do a flip. I can't do that. Sorry. Shelby Hall. What the fuck with the lateness, Mr. Elwood? I'm so sorry, Shelby. Wow. That's pretty rough. We shot the FNX show last time, which was so much fun, and then the comics went out afterwards. I didn't get home till 2. I don't drink. I'm not hungover. But man, I wake up early no matter what. So I just can't. So my sleep was messed up. But I went to the veggie grill, which is great, and these are compostable plastic. Boom, boom. I'm glad I sound good. Bluebill 51, socks and blessings. Hey guys, Darian. You guys are fantastic. I'm glad everything sounds good. Linda Martin, hi Graham from Aotearoa, New Zealand. Man, I gotta go to New Zealand. Zach Davis, how's my day going? It's going all right. I had to literally take a nap. I was so tired, but I'm wearing this cool Batman shirt. I went to lunch with my buddy Mike Siegel. I'm trying to find a backpack that has straps so I can put my yoga mat that straps to the bottom of the backpack. We had a delicious veggie grill lunch. It's finally done raining here. In a couple days, it'll be good to surf, so I'm excited. Paul Lang, £1 from the UK. Thanks, brother. Thanks for supporting the show. Way to jump in the super chat quick. Boom. Shelby Hall, New Zealand has a young female head of state. That's really cool. The Broken Carpenter. Hey, Graham, I'm all beat up from marching with youngins, but you're on now. Hipness. Right on. Thank you. All I got, Paul Lang, all I got, bro, till the end of the month. Dude, it's all good. Thank you for supporting the show. Any way that you guys can support the show is fantastic. I want to show you another cool way to support the show. So some of you have been able to send stuff to my P.O. box, and I got this awesome handwritten letter from KC the 11, who supports this show. And he writes, oh boy, there's not a lot of light here. I need glasses. Here, hold on, I gotta spray this light. Hey Graham, here's a check for you to keep on keeping on. I dropped half a C note on Super Chat on the Super Chat a couple weeks ago. I'll do more as time goes by. I'm trying to spread things out between Jimmy, Kyle, and Michael from the Humanist Report, as every voice speaking the truth online is the only way to get it to change. Happy to add you to my list of donations. Looking forward to more of your comments. And JD, JD, that's very funny shit. Funny. Thanks, man. Cool way to support the show. Thank you, KC the 11. Handwritten letter. That's old school, and I love it. It's very cool. Oh. Mike Riddle, snowing here in Virginia, really hard. Climate change at work. Yep. And it'll melt in a day, showing you what climate change really does. That's when people are like, oh, there's no climate change. It's cold. And when Trump said that on the campaign trail, it's all colder. Where's all the global warming? No, it's called climate change. So we're going to have more extremes. Cold places are going to get even colder. Hot places are going to get even hotter and drier, more drought. So that's something people need to pay attention to. All right, let's talk about this. The Prime Minister of New Zealand, Rosenfeld 10. Hey, Shelby, she blames homelessness on capitalism, so I'm a fan of her already. That's cool. Annabelle Corley, who is an Aussie, says the New Zealand Prime Minister is so cool. Wish she would come over the Tasman and be ours. That's funny. Stephen Carl, hey y'all, hit the like, hit the joint, tell friends about the show. That's cool. Yeah, share this out on your social media. Very cool. We've got already 33 people watching, getting likes. Shelby Hall, my sister took my niece to DC for the march. They drove in from Columbus, Ohio. I gotta, yeah, we'll talk about the march in a second. Bluebell 51, you can make the check out to myself or Palm Strike Inc. I'm putting it up there. That's the name of my company that you can make the check out to. I was watching the march today on the news. I was tempted to go downtown. I saw the main one in DC, and they had one in LA as well. I woke up with a crazy headache. So, but also yeah, the march was really powerful, and it was amazing seeing all these kids speak. The one I was watching, CNN was showing the one from DC, and the 11-year-old girl that spoke, that was like, hey, let's bring awareness to all of the African Americans that have been shot as well. And it was pretty powerful. And these kids talking about, we're voting, we're gonna vote. That they said our age group votes in like the 18 to 20 percentile, which is true in primaries. 18% voter turnout in the primaries, and they were like, we got to change that. So I really hope, I mean, marches are great statements. I hope everybody's like stays on it and doesn't let the powers that be, because the powers that be are hoping that all of these kids go away. They have their march and they cheer and they pat themselves in the back on social media, but then they'll go back to playing Pokemon Go or whatever and just go back to social media and don't pay attention. But I really felt something watching this more than I have in any of the other marches of the last couple years, of like I felt like, hey, this actually feels like these kids, because let me tell you something. The last time like 18-year-olds really woke up and paid attention and voted was when they were worried about being drafted to go to Vietnam. And there hasn't been a draft since. And so they have really made sure that each new group of 18-year-olds is distracted with video games and all this other nonsense, you know? So this is terrifying that these kids, and I'm following some of the actual Parkland kids on Twitter saying, this one girl said, I can't believe that this is what happened from a conversation we had in somebody's living room just 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago was when the Parkland shooting was. It was Valentine's Day. And somebody went, all right, we got to do something about this. And then it's taken storm. It's like it needed kids to say, we don't feel safe. It needs kids to say, this is bullshit. I should be studying a term paper, not on how to, deal with an active shooter. And teachers out there saying, I should be doing lesson plans, not escape routes. I shouldn't have a gun. I shouldn't and millions of people talking about this. This is what it's going to take. And there was already, you know, I got an article, and then I'm going to talk about it this week about what happened in the primary in Illinois. It sounds like a lot of progressives got in there in Illinois, which is pretty amazing. So, and you know, they need to get involved, and like more millennials are running for office, and they're running as progressives. The millennials are the largest, has the largest percentage of people saying they don't support either party that are independents, because they're just seeing the bullshit, you know, and they're just asking questions. Well, because they're told, lesser of two evils, just you got to vote Democrat, lesser of two evils. Wait a minute. And they're like, they're going online. You know, their first instinct is to go online and do the research. They don't watch CNN. They don't watch MSNBC. They get their news from their smartphone. They get their whole interaction with their whole world from their smartphone. So it's really, and so they're like, well, wait, I know you took money from the NRA. And they're even calling out, like, because obviously any politician that takes money from the NRA, vote them out. You know, I'm seeing vets asking for gun change. Vets, the hashtag vets for change, vets for gun control. Like, I saw that hashtag this morning. So and this is a great point. So Johnny Garner just said, I live in Alabama. I was out in the wild, public, heard a guy say the left is weak. And that guy's not wrong, because the left has been weak. The left has been weak. And these kids driving the left now going, nope, nope, nope. Kids going, I'm a socialist. You know? My niece, one of my niece's boyfriend is like, I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists. She told me that. I was like, what? That's awesome. Nobody was saying that in college before. There was always a socialist club, but they were like, wait, it wasn't like a big movement. People weren't like coming up going, yeah, I'm a socialist. Capitalism is broken. And this is the thing. That gentleman in Alabama that said the left is weak is not wrong, but this is an opportunity for the left to finally stand the fuck up and pay attention and stop with this lesser of two evils bullshit. These kids are like, when a lesser of two evils, fuck that. We're voting them all out. You know? Brent James, the Democrats have deliberately made the left weak and divided the left too. Yeah, that's a good point, because there's no difference really between the Democrats and the Republicans. They take corporate money too. The Democrats, there's Democrats that take that have taken money from the NRA, but there's also just plenty of Democrats, like when they had majorities of the House and the Senate and the White House from 2009 to 2011, they didn't do anything. So okay, they didn't take money from the NRA, but they could have voted gun legislation. They just, we can't fight that fight. You know? And the thing, why the pro-gun people, the thing that they're really wrong about is, these marches will stop. These kids won't put pressure on them. It'll die down. Well, you know why it won't die down? There's going to be another shooting. I hate to say that, and it's awful, but there is no new gun legislation since February 14th, so there will be more shootings. There's going to be more kids that are going to lose classmates. There's more parents that are going to lose children. It's going to happen. What is it? Something like, whatever the number is, 96 people a day die from gun violence in America. And that's the people that's not on the news. So I really was watching this morning and hearing the speeches going, they just, because they were kids. They weren't politicians with an agenda, with an angle. These were kids going, this is messed up. And they want to do something about it. So, Hawaiian Tater, the USA population isn't left, but it's centrist. The real definition of centrist, which basically means FDR New Deal policies. Maybe. C. Blaine, Maryland school shooting the other day. Yep. Annabelle Corley, they have also realized the NRA is out of their mind, literally. Yeah. And they all getting together, and that's the thing about a movement. when there's that many people together, you go, oh, wait a minute, I'm not crazy. The NRA telling me in the Second Amendment, and wait a minute, this is bullshit. And they're shouting down the gun nuts. There's not enough gun nuts. There's more people, 85% of the population wants gun reform. So these kids are just going to go, no. No. Dents from Germany. Graham, we need a bigger discussion around money. Isn't it kind of ironic that we as a species enslave ourselves literally for paper with some ink printed on it? Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, this whole society is just, we're enslaved, and then what does that create? Materialism, which is very soulless. We don't have much of a human connection because we always have to get money. We're always working. We don't have time to raise our kids. We don't have time to actually like really have a fulfilling life. I mean, really, is that what life is supposed to be? Just work, 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 and go on one vacation a year? That's it? That's life? That's pretty scary, man. That's pretty brutal. We should have an amazing life on this planet. We could have an amazing life on this planet. One of the most powerful things I saw this morning was Paul McCartney was in New York. Paul McCartney from the Beatles. And he goes, yeah, one of my friends was killed right around here. He's talking about John Lennon was killed by guns. Yeah, you don't forget that. One of the most beautiful, amazing voices of any artist to come around in the last 100 years was gunned down. Because Mark David Chapman, history of mental illness, was able to get a gun and shoot him. John Lennon's dead. He could still be alive writing music, by the way. Just hope you know that. Lee Cox, I live in South Georgia and called myself a socialist since high school, since junior high, 86. Have almost never been taken seriously until people realize I know more about socialism and capitalism than they know about either. Good for you. Information, that's what does it. Mark Riddle, I heard that 85% of the people in the U.S. live in or close to cities. These people want progressive policies. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Stephen Carl, when a movement has corporate sponsor, then I'm already leery. Yeah, that's a good point. Ernie B., what do I think of Killer Mike being pro-gun, pro-NRA, and being against the protests? Who's Killer Mike? Sounds like a jackass. All right. Balthazar. 228, thanks for supporting the show. Guns kill people. Coward politicians do too. Absolutely. That's a crime of doing nothing. I mean, let's just break it down to the eyes of the law, right? So if you are sitting there and you're watching someone commit a crime, you're not helping them. Like, let's say they're robbing a bank. You weren't involved in the planning. You don't know any of them, but you're watching them rob a bank and you do nothing. You don't call that's a crime. So what the Democrats have done is do nothing. Even Republicans that don't take NRA money and do nothing. We sit and let this happen and do nothing. That's a crime. Bluebell 51, to quote Bill Hicks, what kind of world do we live in where John Lennon gets shot and Barry Manilow is still making records? That's funny. Redneckonomics, Stevie, you get your computer fixed so I can interview again? Go watch that show. She's bringing some progressive truth from West Virginia. Thank you for supporting the show, Stevie. You're awesome. I look forward to talking to you again on the Skype. Broken Carpenter, the NRA, gun manufacturers, and ammosexuals have never risen up in mass yet, and we've been losing all the other rights. Seems their only reason for the gun is to keep the gun. Yeah. I saw this quote from a vet today who said, you know, I believe in the right to bear arms. I've had guns and all this. He goes, but we got to talk about these people who are obsessed and crazy with the guns. You know, he goes, we need to talk about that. We amass all this ammo, and every time a Democrat gets elected, oh, I gotta buy more guns, and I need this. I need the AR-15 with the longer clip or whatever. Those people are, that's a sickness. That's a crazy, scary sickness that needs to be addressed. Basil Peterson, sadly, the establishment will find a way to corrupt these kids for their own nefarious capitalist purposes. Maybe, Basil, but maybe. I was wondering that too. Are these kids going to just get bought out and slowly, or are they going to just go, nah? Because that's the thing, you know. A lot of the protests in the 60s and 70s, and then those people became adults in the 80s, and then they went for, you know, Republican Reagan era tax breaks and making money in the me generation and all that stuff. So I don't know. I have more hope watching this than I've ever had, I got to be honest with you. Because that generation has been raised with more inclusion. That generation has been raised with access on the internet to everything. That generation has been raised with more diversity. That generation saw, like, a black president was not like the craziest thing they've ever seen. They were like, oh yeah, okay, you know. So I really have more faith, more hope and faith for them. I really do. Killer Mike was a big Bernie surrogate. He's just a big gun guy. Yeah. Yeah, that gun thing is a downfall. If you're a big gunner, it's a downfall. Can't let it go. I don't understand the can't letting go of the gun thing, and then calling out these kids who've had their classmates murdered, and you're going to publicly say that. Well, then if that's who Killer Mike is, maybe he's a shithead. Stevie, Red Economics, I have Skype now, so we're good to go. All right, I'll email you. We'll set up a time. Jeremy Chase, look up Killer Mike at Bernie Sanders rallies. Yeah, I just don't know how you can have that big of a blind spot. You're for Bernie Sanders, but then you still think, and then if you want to be pro-gun, fine, but then you're going to badmouth these kids today? They're all of the kids that spoke were telling stories of like a friend or family member that's dead, and you're going to speak out to get them? Killer Mike can suck it. Tell Killer Mike I'd like to fight him. I don't use guns. I just kick his ass with my hands because I study martial arts because I'm not a pussy with a gun. Shelby Hall, the right to bear arms shouldn't trump my kids' right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yeah, how insane is it that you even have to make that post? Shelby Hall, thank you for saying that. Isn't it crazy? This is why other nations think we're crazy. Like, and the NRA's solution is teachers have guns. We need to arm teachers, and we need metal detectors and bulletproof glass. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. And it makes me, I can't imagine what it's like having kids if your kids are in school. I'm terrified. I have 6 nieces and nephews, ages 10 to 18. They're all in school, and they're not safe. And they're not safe. So when I hear this Killer Mike guy say this, tell them to get knee pads and suck it. And why do you need to name Killer Mike? Ugh. Sounds like a fucking jackass. Yeah, and we talk about this every week because this is the big gun issue, and I'm sorry, this gun. You're gun nuts. If you need a gun and you need all these weapons, you ask, can you look in the mirror and go, why do I need this? Why am I so scared? What am I so scared of? Do gun owners think they're immortal? And it seems like you wouldn't. Why would you own a gun unless you want to use it? So if you want an AR-15, you want to use it, right? I can't pretend. I'm not gonna look the other way at the psychosis involved in wanting to own all these guns. There's a psychosis involved. So, and they're given rights and they're given more protections than kids. So a dog talked about this. A dog died on a plane a couple weeks ago, and within 48 hours, the flight attendant put this dog in. First of all, dogs shouldn't be allowed on planes. I've only started to see that happen in the last 10 years. I've been flying for 30 years. I've never. This is a new thing. So, but it's awful that the dog got put in the overhead compartment and died. Within 48 hours, a congressman had a bill on the floor to try to. Within 48 hours. Within 48 hours. To protect the dog. So dogs and guns have more rights than school kids and black men. Or any brown person for that matter. What kind of sickness is that? What kind of sickness is that? Thank you, Shelby. Shelby Hall, you didn't see any avocado toast today. Yeah, I know. I thought these kids were all just they're all just idiots with their avocado toast. Wow, I saw a bunch of kids who were baptized by fire into activism because they went, wow, I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'll never forget. I had dinner with my niece who's 18 a couple months ago, and she was telling me when she was 11, she had to. They were doing drills. And she was like, I'm 11 years old? What? And my teacher's telling us this is where we're going to do if there's an active shooter? She's like, what? I'm 11. I shouldn't have to do this. No, you shouldn't when you're 11. You shouldn't. But, the Second Amendment, slippery slope. And then here the gun people, we got to meet halfway. I heard some other YouTube jackass, that kid who did that video in the suicide forest, or one of his brother, they both look like fucking morons. And he goes, well, I'm a gun owner, but maybe we gotta meet halfway. Oh, so instead of 30,000 handgun deaths a year, we'll do 15,000. Is that halfway? Yeah, see, I'm not backing down from this. I'm just not. Fuck Killer Mike and fuck these gun owning cocksuckers. Balthazar 228. I still can't have thank you for supporting the show. I still can't have a katana sheathed or unsheathed in public. I know. I have a katana. I have a training blade, which means it's not sharp. You can literally touch it. Like if this was an actual samurai sword and you just did that with it, you would like practically cut your thumb off, right? And I was in a 4th of July parade, and I was asked to be in it to march for my martial arts school a couple years ago. And this LA cop was looking at me. He was like, he couldn't believe it. But in states, you can have open carry guns. You're not allowed to have martial art weapons with you in public unless you are driving in California, unless you are driving to or from a martial art class. Too dangerous. Too dangerous. Too many people got hurt. But I can go to I was at Big Five today, sporting goods store, looking for a backpack, and there's a guy with his 10-year-old son buying a gun. Balthazar 228, I still can't have a katana sheathed or unsheathed in public. Swivel guns, hand grenades were arms under the original context of the Second Amendment. A katana is more dangerous than a gun in this crazy country. Sorry, I don't buy it. Chris Foster, I believe in the right to arm bearers. That's funny. Balthazar 228, court Dems support hashtag single prayer munitions for all. Absolutely. Cyber Clue, thank you, Balthazar 228, for supporting the show. Got to watch out for the corporate Dems. Cyber Clue, my 70-year-old CNN, MSNBC brainwashed father thinks that these marches prove that people will vote for any Democrat, including corporate Democrats, because guns in Russia and porn stars. Proud Foot, some say they need guns to defend their rights, but Patriot Act already took the rights away. That's absolutely. Redneckonomics, I want gun reform, but my concern is that the establishment will use this to target people with mental illness. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, that's a great question, Stevie. How can Yeah, it's very healthy to have that much distrust of anybody in power, and not dealing with mental illness is a big part of it. Um, so yeah, and that's why it's going to take like wholesale reform, meaning really doing the research to vote in the right candidates that aren't corporate Democrats. And somebody else just brought up I did that video on a lot of ex-CIA people are running as Democrats, and they're just anti-Trump, anti-Trump. And how will they exploit gun reform to just further the deep state? And that's why we need to address all of these issues, I think. Because poverty is part of this. Poverty contributes to crime. 1%ers profiting, the gun lobby is profiting from this. The not wanting to deal with mental illness, and also the pharmaceutical companies, their solution to any illness is just pump you full of meds so that they continue to make a profit. And getting America to deal with mental illness, it's getting better. It's getting better. I had a comic on my show, Sheila Shalaki, did a joke about having PTSD, and she talks about it in her act. It's on the first episode of the FNX Comedy Experience. It's on Facebook, and it didn't seem like, some people might say, oh, it's just a comic doing a joke, but talking about PTSD in a comedic act was actually a big thing for me to get the stigma talked about. And it's just going to take, it's such a great question, Stevie, and it's just going to take a lot of all of us, like we're doing on this thing, paying close attention. Paying really close attention. Because that's the thing, like going back to when I talked to Jennifer Briney, and she does that podcast, Congressional Dish, she goes in and unpacks all of these bills. So when there's a gun reform bill, let's see what's in there. But there's so many other factors here that need to be taken into consideration. Police reform, a lot of stuff. It's a great question, and a question that needs to keep being asked. Balthazar228, thank you, my friend. My former representative and candidate for Colorado governor voted not to remove guns from those who filed for bankruptcy, and yet he's still the best candidate in the race. Yeah. I would love to see somebody with the stones to run in a really red pro-gun state, an anti-gun. I'm running for gun reform. Just go right in the face of the NRA. Go, yep, you got a lot of you guys are hunters. That's fine. You want a hunting rifle? Fine. You don't get an automatic weapon. And when a bunch of hunt gun guys show up at the rallies, I got the right. Yeah, okay. I'm unarmed. Shoot me then, you big pussy. You know? I'm totally comfortable in the size of my dick. I don't need a gun. There, that's my fucking ad slogan. Gun reform, because I'm comfortable with my dick. Graham Elwood, 2020. Redneckonomics, going back to your thing, especially when 1 in 5 people are on psych meds, it's a good point. It's a good point. Bluebell 51, police already shoot to kill people with mental illness. Yeah, well, that's how the police handle most issues. And they just shoot you down. You're holding a cell phone, you get... Shelby Hall, New Zealand's head of state openly admits to having anxiety. Can you imagine such a thing here? I need to move to New Zealand. Well, that's such a great point. That's part of the thing. America is afraid. This is a scared, crazy country. It is afraid to admit. Like, leaders can't go, man, I'm scared. I get scared some. This is a tough job, you know, but here's how I deal with it. No leader can do that. We have to, oh, tough America. Get a gun, truck, beer, idiots. I would love to hear a leader say that. Oh, man, I don't know. Boy, this is a difficult situation, but we got to find some answers. I'm not sure how we're going to find the solution. Versus just tough talk. Like everything's just some stupid old Western. Like this country's, still thinking it's like the 40s, like when right after World War II in the 50s, when we beat Hitler and we're the heroes, and everyone still thinks we're that and we're not. Balthazar228, thanks, dude, for supporting the show. Is it really too hard to make people keep guns at ranges? You get secure transport and all the stupid weapon fun time you want, but in secure spots. Yeah, I know. You want to go shoot a gun? All right. The only place you get to use it is at the gun range. But I need it for protection. Okay. You're more likely to kill yourself if you own a gun. You're more likely to die by your own gun if you have one. Just so you know. Balthazar228, thanks for bringing that up. I got raspy voice. Phil Britton, the question to ask is, are gun owners mentally ill to begin with? I don't know. Could be. The ones that like have stockpiles of big crazy weapons, and they absolutely need to be, they need a psych evaluation for sure. For sure. I mean, again, you want to tell me I live in the country, I need a gun because there's snakes and coyotes. Okay. You get one little gun, a little bit of ammo, that's it. If you like, I need the gun, I need the gun. The people that are they're called gun nuts for a reason, then there must be something off. You know, there must be something off. Why don't we ask that question? Vermont Bread Smith, past employment with CIA equals deal breaker for me. Oh, going back to the, yeah, let's bring that back up. So pay close attention to anti-Trump Democrats running that have been with the CIA. And I agree with Vermont Bread Smith. If they used to work for the CIA, I will not trust you at all. You have proven you're not trustworthy. That means you are a deep state operative. That means you are a part of the surveillance state. You are part of the intelligence community, which is just an arm of the corporate state that we live in. I wouldn't vote for him. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And even if they're like running against a Republican incumbent, we got to get them out of there. No, I don't want to put a CIA operative in there at all. Vote them out. Vote in a third party. Run yourself. Yeah. Yeah, wait till the general and vote for the Green Party candidate or whatever. That's a great point. Stephen Carl, economic fear is the driving force behind most of this shit. No one will talk about it because there are clear backpacks to sell. Yeah. Oh, I know. That's America's solution to everything. Just put a new product to buy. I mean, keep you scared, so you got to buy stuff to feel safe. It's like, what was it, Bowling for Columbine, that Michael Moore movie where he goes to Canada and people don't lock their front doors? That was insane. Because America, everyone's going to come get you. They're going to shoot you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. I need a gun. There's terrorists coming. Gun, 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 gun. Other countries are just like, Jesus Christ. Annabelle Corley, universal health care plus gun reform will get you more than halfway to real change. Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy Chase, I have often said I believe mass shootings are directly tied to psych meds. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's how we deal with, going back to the mental illness issue, which is tied to all of this. We don't really deal with mental illness. We just give them psych meds. And some of those psych meds make you suicidal. I mean, there's still so much we don't know about the human brain, and yet we're just like, yep, here's some meds, quickly approved by the FDA. I'm sure there's meds that have helped people out. I'm sure there's people that are like, hey, these psych meds really help me out. I'm sure there are. I know people who are on antidepressants and then they went off them and then they committed suicide. You know? But that's all part of the whole thing that America doesn't want to deal with, Jeremy Chase. We don't want to have gun reform. We don't want to talk about, it's not one of these things. It's all of them. It's all of them. Bluebill 51, I lost a husband to mental illness. I'm really sorry to hear that. I've lost some friends to mental illness who've committed suicide. I had a really good friend about a year and a half ago that had a suicide attempt. He's alive. He's doing better. He's on better medication, supposedly. It's brutal. I've had a lot of people since high school commit suicide. Guy I played football with in high school. Balthazar228, thanks, brother, for supporting the show so much, man. Jay Bolton, Lord of the Black Site and Warden of the Swamp. Oh, man. Yeah, so I did that video about Bolton. Whew, I didn't realize he has been backing this crazy Iranian, like, it's so clear Trump is like, we're going to invade Iran. We've been wanting to invade Iran for a while. And because we need their resources, we need their access to oil, obviously we need them geographically. So it's just like we need to get, Bolton is just a crazy appointment. It's a scary, crazy appointment. Trump just keeps, I mean, he fires somebody and replaces him with someone even worse. It's just unbelievable. I've said this before and I will say this again. 2018 is more important than 2020. Because if we don't get a bunch of progressives voted in here in 2018, then the Democrats they'll put Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren or a bunch of corporate Democrats to run against Trump, and they'll lose. They'll lose. Or they'll win, and oh, everything has changed, and they'll go back to bed. Everyone will go back to sleep. There'll be no more rallies or marches, and they'll keep going on business as usual. They'll pass a couple environmental laws, you know, they'll do a couple little good things here, but then they'll just keep the corporate war machine going, bailing out the banks. But here's the thing that's going to happen. This is the thing. There will be a massive recession before 2020. I just don't see us going 2 years before this recession doesn't just. I don't want that to happen, but I've said this, but I just don't see us going that long without it happening again, because all of the signs are there for it to happen again. Bluebell 51. It's the same reason men rape. It's not guns or sex. It's power. Yes, it's definitely power and abuse. Jeremy Hall, man, you're rocking it today. Thanks, brother. I know I get a little hot on the gun issue, but so did the Dark Knight. Shelby Hall, thank you for supporting the show. You guys are fantastic. Only a good guy with a bomb can stop a bad guy with a bomb. Right? Austin Bomber was a troubled young man, not a terrorist. You can tell mainstream media reaction by skin color. Oh, absolutely. That's such a great point. God, we haven't even talked about the Austin Bomber. White kid, in one story I read, he was just a good Christian. Whoa, wait a minute now. He's not a Christian terrorist? There's no lone wolves. You ever notice that? When a brown person, and if they're Muslim or Middle Eastern, and they went to a mosque even once, I mean, they walked by a mosque and just peeked in, oh, Muslim terrorist. You notice that in the news? This Austin Bomber, he's not a Christian white terrorist? Why isn't he a white Christian terrorist? Oh, he's a white kid. Yeah, it's unbelievable to watch those stories. Shelby, that's such a great point. You know? Troubled young man. He's not part of some sinister terrorism plot. Remember the Oklahoma City bomber? That was a terrorist organization. They were a bunch of fanatics who blew up a building and killed hundreds of people. Like this, yeah, of course he's a troubled young man. Anyone who wants to blow up or kill people is troubled. Just like someone who owns a bunch of guns and wants to use them for when society collapses. They're hoping for society to collapse. That's a troubled person? Yeah. He's not a terrorist. Why isn't he immediately called a terrorist? Every time this happens, they're not immediately called terrorists. Every time. It's a white kid's troubled. Lone wolf, One bad apple. Brown person, oh, terrorism. It's here. It's coming. Terrorism is coming. Like when there was the shooting in San Bernardino, where I shoot my TV show. That was terrorism, right? And they had easy access to guns. So we need guns to fight terrorists, but anyone can get a gun in America, so then a terrorist could use a gun to kill us. Wait, what? What? It's a great point, Shelby. Thanks for bringing that up. The Austin bombing. I've been to Austin. I've been all over this country. It's a great city. And it's like, I know people that live in Austin. And look how the mainstream media handles it, because he's white. Balthazar 228. Thanks for supporting the show. You're keeping Gotham great. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a bazooka, is a line spoken by someone who wants to sell you a bazooka and a gun. Absolutely. Of course. The NRA has been making, the gun lobby, the gun manufacturers, which fund the NRA, have been making money hand over fist with the knowledge. Every time there's a mass shooting, gun sales go up. Did you know that? Every time there's a mass shooting, gun sales increase. What does that tell you? So they want gun hysteria. They want your reaction to when there was a school lockdown yesterday in Pacoima. They said there was a shooter, but I guess there wasn't. And they were talking to a woman on camera. She was like, I came to pick up my daughter. We're going home. And the reporter was like, yeah, but the police said it's safe. And she said, my daughter can't study right now. She's terrified. This is awful. She's coming home. I don't know if I had kids. I don't know. I might homeschool them because I don't want them out there. I was a little scared to go to the march today because I'm like, uh-oh, what if somebody starts shooting at a rally at a gun control rally? When I was in Afghanistan and Iraq telling jokes, I'm not in the military, there was this like heightened sense of alert. You're in a war zone. And I feel that more and more in America. There's a gun, there's a loud noise, there's a gun, what's a gun? What? I feel that. When I'm out in public, it'll just cross my mind. I don't obsess about it, but what if someone just walks into this restaurant and starts shooting it up? Someone could just do that. Isn't that crazy that I think that way? Because there's a mass shooting all the time. California has strict gun laws. There's a lot of shootings. Oh, but they get them illegally. Yeah. I'll say this again. Eliminate all of the guns that are sold legally. You get rid of the guns that get into the people's hands illegally. It's that simple. Thanks for bringing that up, Balthazar. Johnny Garner, men that need pseudo power from gun or sexual assault or racism are truly those never needing power. Good point. Phil Britton, guns are the coward's excuse for critical thinking. Yep. There's another one here. I didn't want to miss one of these super chats. Balthazar 228, out of the 90-something gun deaths a day, 50 are suicide. 50 plus are suicide. Yep. If you own a gun, you're more likely to die from it by killing yourself if you have a bad day and if you're suffering from any sort of depression or mental illness. You don't even have to have mental illness to go through that. You can just go through a really tough thing. I went through a bad breakup from a woman that was really awesome for 2.5 years. She started drinking and doing drugs and she became violent and abusive. It was heartbreaking. I'm sober. I eat healthy, I exercise, I go surfing. I have friends, I have support groups, I have all this great stuff, and I still felt like there was dark, dark days. There was dark days. So if you're not getting help, you're not seeing a therapist, you're not in a support group, as Red Economics brings up, meds only do half the work. The other half is living a healthy lifestyle and using coping mechanisms. Yeah. So if you're not using, like, diet is a huge thing. We don't talk about diet in this country. All the crappy food we eat in America, you don't think that's all the sugar that's in everything? Watch the documentary Fed Up. The sugar lobby has lobbied and gotten sugar in everything, and they've gotten research taken away. It's unbelievable what the sugar lobby has done. Sugar makes people's moods spike. So as Balthazar 228 and Red Economics talk about, it's connected, the gun deaths and the suicide, a healthy lifestyle. And if people aren't, and if mental illness is shamed in this country, so getting help, you're viewed tough. You know, that's the country, you got to suck it up in this country. I hear people all the time, like at a funeral, like, I was good. I had a brave face during the funeral. At the funeral? You should be crying at a funeral. Somebody died that you cared about. It's sad. You should cry. What's this brave face nonsense? So then it's like, we don't deal with our issues, so we deal with them with drugs and alcohol, and we don't have healthy coping mechanisms, as Stevie is talking about here. And then if you own a gun, whew, that's a quick solution right there. Paul Lang, a whole lot of fear and compassion in these comments, but not one advocate of disarmament. I am. Have you not been listening, Paul? Yeah, disarm. A. Mayors, in our country convention today, a delegate proposes removing the GMO language from the necessary disclosures language in the platform. Mars, thankfully, was soundly voted down. Tony Smith, founding fathers wrote Second Amendment to protect people from tyrannical governments. If they can have tanks, so should we, and anything else the criminal psychopaths have access to. That's a good point. Der Schwarz-Ritter, no one else noticed the beauty that was to see someone named Human asking if there are any good news today. Oh, I did not see that. Human, any good news today? Yes. Jason A. wrote, I had a great time at my granddad's 148th Yoda's birthday. Your granddad's 104th birthday. I celebrate that. That's wonderful. Well, I will say this, Human. The good news is these kids spoke up. These kids are marching. They marched on the 17th, and they marched today, and millions of people took to the streets. I think that is good news. You know? I think that is good news. Vermont Bred Smith, Jimmy Dore says, we've already lost our rights, so all these gun nuts should be actively fighting the government if they mean what they say. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I know. If the gun nuts knew how many rights had already been taken away. Shelby Hall, the kids give me hope. Even my daughter walked out. Good for your daughter. Johnny Garner, Marshall County had a sheriff. He sold all their AK-47s, police AKs. Nothing happened to him legally. Mayors, how do you start to address health and diet when everyone is broke and has shit and food is $1 chicken egg debate? In my honest opinion. But that's a great point. Yeah. So how do you eat healthy when organic food costs more than regular food? Like, that's a great point. That's a great point. Monsanto is a big pusher of that. And like Whole Foods is more expensive, and now Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. What I would have done, and when up until getting this FNX gig, my money was fairly tight. I viewed eating healthy as a necessity, not a luxury. So you're not wrong. That's the economics of eating healthy. You're absolutely right. It's cheaper to go to the fucking Taco Bell or the 99-cent store. But like, I just made a point of, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to spend the money on eating healthy, no matter how tight my money is, because that's that important to me. And exercise and eating healthy, like surfing and stuff, it's not just so I can go out with Putin and plan to block Hillary from campaigning in Wisconsin and Michigan with Jill Stein, which we did on our surfboards with a bunch of avocado toast eating burn bros. But surfing is important for my mental and physical health. It's important for my well-being. It's been cold and rainy here. I've surfed once in 5 weeks and I feel it. So I think that's part of it, is the mentality in America is eating healthy, relaxation, vacations are viewed as luxury items because we're all just supposed to be slaves for the corporate state. So that's the thing, Amares, that I would do. Make that a priority. Rearrange things if you have to. I went through my finances and I'm like, eating healthy is it's my health. I have to do it. I hope that helps. Sarah something. Thank you for supporting the show. The teacher strikes and the marches today give me hope that people are finally getting it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And because they're realizing that things have not changed, and not paying attention is killing you. Like, everyone went, wait, huh? Wait. Even Hillary won more of votes and she still lost? Like, wait, what? Like, anyone who's not paying attention is starting to look over and go, wait a minute. And they're seeing it and they're going, this is wrong. The Electoral College? Wait, what a minute, wait. And nothing's changing. And they're hearing, like, I saw so many signs about calling out how bullshit thoughts and prayers are. They're sick of it. They're sick of it. And the young kids, again, as I said, they're not watching the corporate news. They don't get their information that way. They don't sit in front of the TV and watch MSNBC. They don't do that. They don't get their information. They get it from social media. And they're opening themselves up to this whole big world out there like never before. So, gives me hope too, Sarah. Thank you. Hawaiian Tater. Thank you for supporting the show. I love Hawaii. Aloha. Dems saying Trump is weak on Russia is not attacking him from the right. Ron Paul libertarians. Strongest anti-war voices. Nothing is more important than opposing war. Take the allies where you can. Yeah, it's... This is such a good point, and the march today, the anti-gun violence march. I hope this blossoms into anti-war marches. We've talked about this before, Hawaiian Tater. There's no anti-war movement in this country. There used to be. No one's paying attention. There was anti-war marches leading up to the Iraq War, and then that act of treason went, and people like Hillary Clinton backed it. So, but within the gun violence conversation should be an anti-war conversation. Let's hope that this is like finally the real transformation that this country is going to get. I hope. I hope. And that's why it's a good point you bring up. We can't fall into this just the Republicans are bad thing. The Republicans do a lot of awful crap, but so have the Democrats, if we talk about on this show. And that was weird. I agree, take the allies where you can, provided we are not acquiescing on key items. The purity tests that Kamala Harris talked about last year are a bad thing? No, they're not. We need purity tests now more than ever, and apply them to everybody. We've talked about Sam Ronan as a progressive running as a Republican. We need real change. We got to get it wherever we can. Hawaiian Tater, it's a great point. The Ron Paul libertarians are the strongest anti-war voices. And the Greens talk a lot about it too, obviously, but we need more of that. The Democrats don't talk anti-war. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard really is. I was reading more stuff from her today. She's really pushing that hard. I hope she sticks with it. Nothing is more important than opposing war. I agree with that up to a point. I believe the environment is the most critical thing we have right now. Because without breathable air and drinkable water, it won't matter how many wars we oppose or gun control. It won't matter. Not that I'm glad this march happened today. I'm really glad it happened, but we need to have marches like this for climate change and addressing it, because it's going to kill all of us, not just high school kids. War is awful too. Those are all valid points. They're all valid points. For me, it's the environment, but I want to see some, if I can, the other thing too I'm hoping for is a sort of domino effect in a good way. This type of groundswell, because when people see we all get together and like if real change happens with gun reform, then everyone will go, oh, we can all get together on climate change. We can all get together on anti-stopping wars. And we can all get together on, that's what I would like to see. That's what I hope sort of is the snowball effect from this in a good way. Thanks for supporting the show, Hawaiian Tater. Balthazar 228. Don't worry, Pelosi will be sure to will be sure there to endorse pro-gun Dems. Next, she'll stump speaking for kill the puppies candidates. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, I did that video like a week or so ago about how she's backing anti-abortion and anti-LGBT rights people. That guy. This is why I know this is broken record, but it needs to be repeated over and over and over. Don't just say the Dems are better. Nancy Pelosi fights for you. No, she's not. There's plenty of Democrats that have benefited from the NRA. Plenty of them. Even just paid to turn the other way. They're like, look, I can't say I'm for guns because that'll get me voted out of office, but I'll block this. I'll just not do anything. There's that kind of corruption too. It's not as overt as like Ted Cruz getting a big fat check from the NRA. It's just like, here's a little something, like I can't be publicly seen. There can't be any trace of you, NRA, helping me, corporate Democrat. But a little something over here, a little something over there. I'll look the other way. I won't fight it as hard. Publicly, I'll be like, well, gun control. That's how they do it. Balthazar 228, good point. Plantastic Life, Dominic, good to see you. Thank you for supporting the show. Do you think the majority of Americans know how many countries we are bombing and dictators we are supporting? Oh, no. No. The answer is no. Most Americans have no idea. When I tell people we're in wars in 8, when I say we're in 8 wars, Obama took us from 2 wars to 7, they all kind of go, oh, boy. He dropped 26,171 bombs just in 2016 alone? Wow. If you really just if CNN and MSNBC took camera crews and showed what America was really doing, they can't because they're part of the corporate state owns them. So when Boeing is paying their bills, there's no way they're going to do this. But if you really showed America what America was doing, Plantastic Life, they would. And I think part of it is when they hear it, they don't want to deal with it. It'd be like hearing like a family member you really care about is like a serial killer or a pedophile or something. It's like, let me look at the amount of denial that's in this country. We don't want to know how many poor people we're murdering, how many dictators we support. We don't want to. We don't want to know where meat comes from. We don't want to know where pretty diamond rings. We don't want to know where pretty diamond rings come from in this country. We don't want to know how we get oil. As long as we can put it in our SUV and drive around, everything's good. We don't want to know. Now, people are kind of they're being confronted with this. Like this march today is showing people are just, Americans are being confronted with gun violence. And these kids are like, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Oh, slippery slope. Well, I'll meet you halfway. Nope, 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 nope. They're just, so you have to kind of confront people with this. And it's like, you're supporting a show like this to where I can try to get the word out and you can try to get your neoliberal friends or your conservative friends to pay attention to this stuff. You know, look at all the awful stuff we're doing. We got to stop terrorism. We're creating more terrorists. That's what I would say to the conservatives. We're creating more of them because we bomb them. The neoliberals, we're not the good guys. Yeah, Trump's evil. Yeah, Obama was too. So was Bush. So was Bill Clinton. Lesser of two evils. I don't understand that mentality. So we need to help inform the majority of Americans how many people we're bombing. You can post it on your social media when you find an article or a video that you like or something like that. Let people know. They're getting their information on social media. Find accurate, current information and put it out there. That'll wake some people up. Yes, Obama was a coward and a war hawk. Human, brick, wood-fired, bread oven in every town square to feed people and allow citizens to gather to find solutions would be nice. Man. Human, that's a great, so that's the other thing too. That people getting together. I mean, this is cool, we're connecting, but in-person connection is even better. It's when I've done the Jimmy Dore shows, those of you that show up, they're so amazing. There's such an energy there when people show up. They're so cool. And interchanging of different ideas. That's a great solution. That's a great solution. Hawaiian Tater, thanks for supporting the show. Valid point, environment versus war. The two are related though, because nothing pollutes the environment more than the war machine. Great point. And what you're bringing up, Hawaiian Tater, is the thing I talk about. Everything is connected. So you say this, you want to end war? You want to say, start this, let me rephrase. You want to save the environment? Start by ending war. Start by ending the war machine. Put the military to use planting trees like the Chinese government did. It's a great point, and everything is connected. And everything is connected. Instead of building all of these guns and manufacturing guns, instead of giving everybody the right to own a gun, give everybody the right to manufacture their own energy. Give everybody their own solar panel and wind turbine and not let the utility companies control it. That'd be a great solution. Yes, and every time we talk about climate change, somebody, and you're doing a great thing here, always brings up that the military is like the greatest polluter out there. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And cutting back the war machine would help the environment, Hawaiian Tater. No two ways about it. Balthazar 228. Troops planting trees, Dems would call tree sun. Oh, are you paying to do puns again? It's like a couple weeks ago when Stevie had me do Darien. Yes, Balthazar 228. That would be treason. That would be tree sun. Balthazar 228. Just wait. Hillbots will call victims racist, sexist. Yeah, of course. Good points. Good points, Balthazar 228. And good jokes. Nice joke writing. Phil Britton, where are the Dems howling about abolishing Citizens United? Not a peep, of course. Mike Riddle, I agree. Everything is connected, beginning with big money controlling the government. And big money controls the war machine, which is really the war machine is to go get natural resources, which is oil. The pharmaceutical companies control why we don't really want to deal with mental illness. guns, it's all, we can't have socialism because that would kill capitalism and cure too many ailments in this country and the world. The broken carpenter, troops stationed at home and able to combat climate-driven wildfires would be a win-win too. Great point. I remember one of the many times being over in Afghanistan and Iraq and seeing how much money was spent and all this. And I was like, what if we put this much resources to like rebuilding America and fixing America and then going out and fixing third world countries, not bombing them for the resources. What if we were in Afghanistan just building schools? Right, the Taliban doesn't want girls to go to school. Okay. But like building roads, building schools in this country, building green energy, having a vibrant democracy, having brick ovens where people are making bread in the middle of the town hall and talking, having conversations. We're so afraid to talk politics in this country, just socially. In Europe and other parts of the world, everyone does it. Everyone's like, oh, let's have a political debate. Let's have one. Cool. It's not this big, angry, personal thing. Happy voice. John Bolton doesn't want peace. Yeah, John Bolton doesn't want peace. That's the thing. Too many people profit from war. Too many people profit from gun violence. Too many people profit from mental illness being unregulated, untreated. Too many people profit from it. Polluting the environment, too many people profit from it. Scrabble Eddie, I used to call it the lobbyist system. Now I call it the neocon lobbyist system. Bluebell 51, Graham Elwood, according to the UN, it would cost $64 billion to end world hunger. And if we were the one who did that, who the fuck wants to be the one who attacks us? $64 billion. That's less than the $80 billion that a bunch of politicians, including 5 big Democrats, gave Trump in the fall. $80 billion could end world hunger. Sorry, $64 billion. $80 billion was given to the military budget. And that's the other thing too. You want to end terrorism? Go feed the world. End world hunger. Why would anyone want to bomb us? We would be the America that we so wish we were or think we are. We would show up and people would go, oh, you Americans, you're so awesome. Look what you've done. You've helped the world. You've taken your wealth and you shared it around the world. And look at your country. You ended poverty in your own country. You have this amazing educational system. Like, there's so many things we could do if we did that. It's a great point. Sapling Archer. We need universal Medicare to end Citizens United and to make gun control, etc. And yeah, that would be great. C. Blaine, Trump bragged about how much money we spend on military with the Saudi prince sitting next to him. Yeah. How many fucking awful people have the Saudis killed? They're helping kill everybody every day in goddamn Yemen. Balthazar 228. Boom, shalakalak. I'd rather see senators in an all-out brawl with McConnell retreating into a shell than hear anyone call a representative my esteemed colleague. Oh, God, I agree with that. Well, that's the thing, too, and you bring up a great point, Balthazar 228, is the point of how politics are done. And they all got to be nice and kind of play ball and my esteemed colleague. And yeah, we're supposed to be polite and they're supposed to be gentlemen, but then they're all paid off and they're all corrupt. And even if they're on, supposed opposing parties, they're not really. They're on the same side, And I'd love to see somebody punch Mitch McConnell right in his 5-chin neck. It's a good point, Balthazar 228. You're on a roll, my friend. You're on a roll. Missing piece. Anybody live in Austin, Texas? I have 2 extra tickets for JDS tomorrow night. Oh, right on. Hope you guys have fun. Jeremy Hall, another good point, Balthazar. Thanks, Jeremy. Francis Dion, yeah, punches turtle head. Now everyone wants to punch McDonald. That's funny. Mike Riddle, what do you think would happen if someone ran for president and he or her #1 goal was writing a new constitution? I'm pretty sure that the current one is a bit out of date. Well, I don't know that you need to write a completely new one, but the thing that is actually good about the Constitution is it is a breathable document, meaning it can be changed. You don't need to write a new one. You just need to go in with some new amendments, you know, and say, I want to make some amendments to the Constitution because there's some outdated stuff in there. You know, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. It would be fantastic. It would be great. I would love to see it. Manchin would pay to bomb miners again if he could and make a buck. Redden economics. Yeah, that's absolutely the point. Yeah. Yeah, Manchin, not good. All right. Balthazar 228. It's hard. Thank you for supporting the show. Boom. I like this cool Batman shirt. Dark Knight. It's hard to reach across the aisle when you're giving a hand job to lobbyists sitting between you and the representative on the right side of the aisle. Yes, you're absolutely right. They're all jerking each other off. They're all getting money, you know. They're all just double teaming the lobbyist because the lobbyist is paying them. Yeah, it's that quote from, I always forget, I always mix it up. Is it Chomsky or is it Ralph Nader? But the difference between the two parties is the speed with which they drop to their knees for a corporate benefactor. Yes, Balthazar 28. They can't fight each other when they're busy giving lobbyists hand jobs. It's good stuff. Who knew we were going to get a congressional hand job joke from Balthazar 228? Thank you so much, sir. Michael R. Pence, if Biden runs in 2020, does Bernie stand a chance? Yes, because I think Biden might just represent the old corrupt system too much. I just don't know, especially I watch these kids out there, I just don't see them falling for the same shit, man. And they can't, the ones that aren't 18, they can't wait to turn 18. I've never seen high school kids en masse this fired up to vote, talking about it online, not just at the rally, but online. I can't wait to vote. I'm 18. I'm going to vote. I'm registered. Where do I vote? Where's the registration? Where do I? They are just like furious. I just don't see them. If Bernie were to run again, I just don't, and they put up another corporate like Biden or whatever, I just don't see it working. I just don't see it working. Maybe I'm being naive or overly optimistic. I don't know. Basil Peterson, the sacrifice zones are increasing every day. Flint is one of the hundreds of cities with contaminated drinking water. Yeah. It's slowly happening, going back to the environment. Without drinkable water, we're not going to make it. And no one's talking about Flint. There's so many issues that need to be talked about. So it's, again, this march today is a good thing because it's getting people to see, like, they got to pay attention. They got to get involved. Maybe a bunch of people in Flint are going to go, you know what? We're dying from contaminated water. Just like kids are dying in school from gun violence. Let's have a march. I don't think Americans are aware of how many cities have contaminated water and how bad it is in Flint, Michigan. Well, the mainstream media isn't. Rachel Maddow's not covering it. Chris Matthews isn't covering it. So why would they know? Which is by design. FTW all day. If y'all haven't read the new Intercept article on Eric Prince, I suggest you do. All right. Johnny Garner, but many areas in Alabama are considered third world standards by the UN, Loudoun County being the largest concentration of it. You guys are obviously having some conversation here, but yes, that's a good point to bring up. I did a story on that. The UN, there's third world conditions here in America. And Americans aren't aware of this and need to be aware of this. Because here's the thing, all these problems are fixable. All these problems are fixable. Coming back to Hawaii and Tater, cut the military budget in half. End all these ridiculous wars. Bring people home and let's deal with real issues, like third world conditions here in America. See how it's all connected? Good point. Cyberclue, Biden only stands a chance in 2020 if the DNC rigs it again, which they could. Johnny Garner, Biden can grasp my dick and beat himself with it. Okay, it's a good point. Bluebell 51, Graham Elwood, I live in Alabama. I can testify to that. Cyberclue, I disagree, Broken Carpenter. I believe Kamala Harris is the establishment's pick. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can say Biden, but I don't know that they're going to run. That's a good point. They're probably going to push Kamala Harris. That's who I think they're really going to try to push in there. But either way, she might have a better chance at beating Bernie, but Jason A., how about the 16 years of brown kids getting killed? Why do we have to lose civil rights and free speech to feel safe and save kids? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not just 16 years. I mean, it's just been brutal. All the unarmed black men that were shot by cops and all the cops were acquitted. There's a lot. Balthazar 228, can we tax $100,000 plus churches to pay for public abortion? Yeah, that's a great idea. Absolutely, I'm all for that. Redneckonomics, supporting the show, Stevie. You're fantastic. We will be doing a interview with Stevie probably this week. I got to see what my schedule's like. Been crazy busy, but I will email you Redneckonomics and we will Skype that shit up. Let's see. Where are we at here? Where are your questions? Per Asplund. Third world is an old term. The former third world countries are modern today, but like the U.S., the gap between the rich and poor is huge. Yes. Yes, it is an old term, but we all understand the point. Jason A., I'm fine with getting rid of guns, but not under mental illness. Yeah, we need gun reform and we need to address mental illness. Yeah, that's a good point. If they just use, like Redneckonomics brought up earlier, they just use gun reform as an excuse to sort of witch hunt mental illness or, yeah, I agree. Missing piece. Assange exposes personal, corporate, and government info, and he gets threatened with the drone strike. But when Zuckerberg exposes your personal data, he gets made man of the year. Yeah, isn't that interesting? I have intelligent, highly educated neoliberal friends of mine who think, oh, Julian Assange is a Russian operative, because that's what the mainstream media tells them. And it's just like, I don't know how you can say that. He calls truth to power. He calls people out, and then they go after him. And Zuckerberg is part of the establishment. He's not the hoodie-wearing hipster kid from college anymore. He's a billionaire. He's the billionaire class, you know, who was getting all of our information, you know. As Shelby Hall says, fuck Zuckerberg. Bluebell 51, there is greater economic inequality in the U.S. today than in ancient Rome in 150 BC. Yeah, but the Roman, that empire didn't collapse, right? So we're good. Goop, boink. Jason, you want, hold on. You want someone classing your kid under mental illness because he learns slower? Yeah, that's a good point. A. Maris, Graham, you always interview people who more or less agree with you. Would you like to interview a liberal or progressive who disagree with you on guns? Yeah, I mean, I can have the gun debate, but I'm not, you're not changing my mind. I mean, on that, I'll listen to other issues, but I'll be very clear here. The gun issue, I am not changing my mind. I've heard this for decades. I'm tired of it. I don't want to, I mean, if this gun person is willing to have me go, yeah, no, I don't agree with that, just for like 10 minutes, we can set up that interview with me going, nope, don't agree with that. Because I've heard all the NRA talking points. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. All right, if I have a fistful of bullets and a ping pong paddle, how many people die? None, because I have a gun. I don't have a gun. So, I mean, if you want me to, and this gun owner, then I'm going to question their sanity and their desire to want to kill people, why they need to own a gun. If you want me to do that, I can. It won't be fun for them because I won't back the fuck down. And I guarantee I'll get them so mad they'll eventually threaten me. They'll threaten to kill me with their gun because that's what the gun nuts do. So we can just do that. Basil Peterson, the Roman Empire got rid of representative democracy and had an authoritarian government for 100 years before it collapsed. Yeah, kind of what we're doing. We've gotten rid of our representative democracy and we just have an authoritarian government and we're collapsing. It's good times. Broken Carpenter, Kamala punched her White House ticket when she freed the bankers. They like the prepayment plan like Obama does, the bank's bidding, and now he gets paid in speeches and shit. It's like tipping the help, yeah. Jason A. I lost this one. Triana be fine. Profiting from our data, I wonder if Cambridge Analytical are one of those consultants who bankrupted the DNC. Yes. A. Maris, my hope is you would change their mind. Okay. Well, then you need to ask them, are they willing to hear points of view that aren't their buddies at the gun range? Because if they're coming in thinking they're going to change my mind, it will not happen. They have better chances of changing my eye color than changing my mind on this particular issue. I'm open to many other things, not this one. Snork Y2K, Romans, minus public toilets, thanks. JK, how do you reconcile being anti-militarized police with being also anti-gun, though? What is there to reconcile? They're the same. I don't want militarized police, and I don't want guns everywhere. The the Second Amendment is part of the reason, and the bastardization of the Second Amendment is part of the reason we have militarized police. The gun lobby pushes this fear mentality so that we need militarized police. So we have real gun control and get guns off the streets, we can also address militarized police. I don't understand your question unless it's somebody else. David Went, thank you, brother. Hey, Graham, missing from the Cam Facebook freakout. The Pentagon designed the internet in the 60s to be a weapon of surveillance, influence, and control, and it continues to that today. Hope you'll please check out Yasha Levine's Surveillance Valley, which tells the tale. Oh, that's good to know. I did not know that. Yeah. Well, it's great because the Pentagon can listen to these conferences, what we're having right now. Hey, NSA, hi. Hi, what's it like not having a soul? What's that like? What's that like, soulless assholes? Jason A., the internet is also used to give the voice to the suppressed. Yeah, that's the thing. When they created this to surveil, but I don't think they realize that then more of us are getting a voice. Without the internet, no network would give me this show. So I don't know. Oh, Cam Anal equals Cambridge Analytica. Okay, sorry, Cam Anal. Yeah, David Wynn. Thank you for clarifying that. I'm like, Cam Anal? What is he talking about? Johnny Garner back, had to look up the CIA drug lab story. Oh my God, it's already been 90 minutes. All right, guys. I want to go watch the sunset across the beautiful Pacific Ocean because that's one of the things I do to keep my life balanced, talking about all these issues, watching this march this morning, becoming very emotional when we talk about it. These super chats always get a little emotional for me. That's why I'm going to go watch the sunset. Hey, Missing Piece, thanks for supporting the show. Let me read this right here. Per Asplund, my military record is this long. Reserve the right to be unarmed. I live in a great country, non-NATO, and we don't need weapons and fear to build our future. That's awesome. All right. It's been dark for 2 hours here, and sorry. Sorry about that, but Cam Anal may very well be working on anal probes for all we know. I wouldn't doubt if the Cambridge Analytical team is working on anal probes. We'll talk about that next week, guys, on the next Super Chat. The Cambridge anal probes that David Went brought to our attention. Everybody do some research and come back well-informed on Cambridge anal probes. Oh, you guys are fantastic. Another great Super Chat. They always do go fast. It's been 90 minutes. I forgot to do this last week. I want to thank everybody that donated the Super Chat. Paul Lang, Balthazar 228. Redneck Economics, Shelby will talk soon. Shelby Hall, no, Stevie, Jesus. All right, let me do that again. Redneck Economics, Stevie will talk soon. Shelby Hall, thank you for supporting the show. Balthazar 228. Balthazar 228 again. Balthazar 228. Balthazar 228 again. Balthazar 228 again. And Balthazar 228 again. Shelby Hall again. Balthazar 228 again. Sarah something. Shelby Hall. Hawaiian Tater, thank you. Balthazar228, thank you. Plantastic Life, good to see you out here, Dominic. Hawaiian Tater again. Balthazar228. 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 I'm not having a stroke. I'm just reading every time Balthazar228 donated to the show. Balthazar228. Redneck Economics. Stevie, we'll talk next week unless you change your name to Shelby. I'll call you whatever you want. Missing Piece. David Went, thank you for the anal probes. You're doing a great service to your country. Very much appreciate all of you, wonderful political vigilantes, paying attention, getting involved. Get involved in your local races. It's 2018, and we will all make Gotham great again. And to all of you in other parts of the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'm doing that. So when I'm done shooting this TV show, starting in May, I'm going to be going on the road more. I'm lining up more dates. I'll release them to you. Don't forget, Jimmy Dore is going to be on the FNX Comedy Experience. He had to move his date around a little bit. Anyway, you got 4 more tape days. Only 3 of them are open to the public. This Friday the 30th, April 6th and the 13th. The April 20th show is like private. We're shooting it for the school. But join me at the show. You can support the show any number of ways. The Patreon is a great way to support the show. You can send checks to the P.O. Box, which is on my website, grahamelwood.com. Make them out to myself or Palm Strike Inc. And just sharing this on social media, like and subscribe. My subscriptions are sort of leveled off at 7,600, which seems like more of YouTube shenanigans. So thank you guys. And looks like maybe Saturdays might be, I don't know. I know I keep flip-flopping between Saturday and Sunday. It's too hard for me to commit at this point because the edit schedule is too nuts. So just pay attention to my social media, and the morning, Saturday or Sunday morning, I'll say, hey, this is when I'm available. It looks like more of you are available when I do this on Saturdays, just because of those of you in the other countries. But thank you so much for watching and supporting the show, and we'll have a lot of fun with Cambridge anal probes next Sunday or Saturday. Let's make Gotham great.